Hello, all. Hope everyone is staying warm out there. There's a possibility we're going to get some snow today, which is something we don't get very often in this part of the world. So some of us are looking forward to that. Some of us are not. I guess it depends on how much snow and for how long, probably for most of us. But I hope you're staying warm out there. We're going to do something we haven't done a lot of since the holidays started, which is a weekly housing market update for Florence, South Carolina for this second week of January 2025. And so with that being said, let's dive right in and take a look. There's some really encouraging things going on in our housing market and projections as we move forward into the meat of the first quarter of this year. Now, median list price has been down since the end of September. It's that fourth quarter drop off. Totally to be expected. What I want to really key in on today, pivotal in this moment in time, in this part of the year, is actually the 7-day line. We usually spend most of our time in this 90-day line because it gives an overall holistic view of what's going on in the marketplace. It's a 90-day average, of course. But the 7-day is really much better for predicting the flow and direction of the housing market. And to be honest, trends are really pretty predictable as it is. There's a seasonal cyclical pattern to these things, of course. Like I just mentioned, fourth quarter drop off, but there can be shifts and there can be relevance in terms of timing. And timing is valuable because if you could predict a pattern shift outside of the norm, and this is just assuming that everybody's even familiar with the norms, and you could get ahead of the market by entering the market by getting your home listed, then you would want to do that because that's a very probable way to get the highest yield, the best offer that you could in an environment where you're not having to compete with other homes because they were waiting to enter the market at a later time because they were abiding by the norms. But if there was a shift, if there was just a slight break, if we were a month ahead of schedule, possibly, you get in 4 weeks early, your house is closing when everybody else is coming in, and you're moving on with your life. So this stuff is really sensitive and significant. It really is. Hopefully that made sense. Let's take a look at an example. Now, we don't have enough, I don't think, to be certain that specific example, but there's some encouraging things happening. So let's take a look. When you look at the 7-day line, you can see that median list price has over the last couple of weeks gone up. Nothing significant there. And even in the last week, it actually dropped down $4,000. This isn't really the metric I wanted to key in on, though. So as far as median list price goes, median list prices are down since the start of the fourth quarter turn, as to be expected. Here's what I wanted us to take note of. This is where it gets very interesting, particularly for you home sellers. If you look since the last week of November, price per square foot has had a significant spike up to $148 per square foot. Now, that $8 per square foot is definitely a significant number because think about it. Say, what's just $8 a square foot? Well, every 1,000 square feet of a home, which 1,000 is going to be about the minimum around here, is $8,000. So if you have a 4,000 square foot home, that $8 per square foot is $32,000. So, of course, it is a significant number. And look at this spike over the last 5 weeks. Now, the last week it came down a couple of dollars, and this is why I said we need to keep an eye on this. But if this trend were to continue and start to climb back to around where we peaked last year, which you see there at $151 a square foot, then you're looking at a setup for home prices this year to not only grow to the benefit of home sellers, but specifically what I wanted to key in on now is the opportunities to sell could potentially be there earlier in the year than what we're accustomed to. Usually people want to enter the market in the second quarter, which is a sensible thing to do because that's the doorway into the selling season of the summer coming through the back end of the third quarter. But you may be able to get in earlier this year and still get the result that you're looking for. You can see that these price per square foot has increased overall in Florence through the month of December. And just as an example, in 2023, that did not happen. Price per square foot didn't start to increase until April. Okay, so again, we're just talking about a matter of timing. What's going on in terms of the timing of the market, the sensitivity to what's happening now. Now, like I said, we don't have anything guaranteed right now. We need a little bit more data. I'd like to see a couple more weeks of some active data such as this and then some sold data to kind of compare and contrast that with, because the average days on market is also on pretty much an identical or parallel increase also. So prices go up, days on market goes up. But the thing that I said that's encouraging is a metric we talked about a lot in 2024 on this show is properties with a price decrease. What I found interesting is that since that same last week of November, essentially, properties with a price decrease has decreased significantly, almost down now, getting close to that 30% number that we'd like to see in our market. So this is really what I'm looking at. So what it means is, can a home seller go for the top end of the market and expect to get that home under contract without having to reduce the price? If price per square foot can increase and properties with a price decrease does not increase also, then the answer to that question is yes. Of course, it matters, how quickly are these homes being absorbed? Are they actually being absorbed would be the other thing to consider. Are they being sold? And you can look right down here. So in the top segment of our market, homes are being absorbed faster than they're coming onto the market. The bottom segment of our market as well. And so right now, the indications are yes. Home sellers, even in January of 2025, can put their home on the market, aim for the top end of the value of that home, and expect to be able to get it under contract and get it sold without having to reduce the price. Now, they may have to anticipate, a little bit of time on the market, but there's where the beauty and the timing comes in. It's possible, depending on where your home is located and what style of home you have, size, all of that you may be able to get in right now with minimal competition. And so all the boxes will check for any buyer that may come along. It's just encouraging is all I'm saying. There's opportunity already right out the gate in 2025, and that bodes well for our hopes for the entirety of the year. The last thing that I'll say is it is worth noting that inventory right now, and we will look at the 90-day average for this, is about as high as it was 2 years ago, which also was higher than anything we've had really in the last few years. So we're at a high point over the last 4 years right now, significantly higher than where we were this time last year. And I believe that's because everyone is settling in to basically the new norm of mortgage rates that increased in 2022. And then this was kind of the reaction of the market to a lot of that change or shift. Now it's starting to balance out. And I will say on that note, if you're anticipating mortgage rates to drop, don't bank on it. No pun intended. There's no guarantee that they could, but the idea that mortgage rates will significantly drop anytime soon is far from guaranteed. But due to what's happening right now in our market, there's definitely opportunity, no doubt about it. There's opportunity. There's a window of opportunity that is slightly opening. We talk about the window a good bit. We talked about it last year. The window was going to close. The window may be opening this year earlier than you may expect or than may be typical. So you could have a 4-week advantage, 5-6-week advantage to get ahead of the crowd this year. It's worth monitoring. I'm not personally saying that I think we're there yet. If, depending on a seller's situation, if they were going to wait until March or April, which would normally be the thought process, I'm not saying I'm at the place yet where I would say, hey, let's get ahead of the curve and jump in now. But a few more weeks of data may prove that getting in February may be the right move because you may be able to beat the crowd to the market. And like I said, have your house closed by the time most of the people that were waiting decide to come in, and you'll have less competition. It just depends on your house. Inventory levels are higher. Okay, so hopefully all that makes sense. If you want to receive these reports for free to your inbox and kind of navigate them and sort it out yourself, just send me an email or leave a comment with your email and I can send it over to you, and these will come to you weekly to your inbox for free. You can search any zip code in the United States. Very handy tool, very useful. And I hope you found this video handy and useful. If you did, please give it a like. It helps us out a lot, and we really do appreciate it. I hope that everyone's 2025 is off to a fantastic start. As always, if you would like a complimentary buyer's consultation, or if you'd like to receive a complimentary house valuation to find out exactly what your house is worth currently, my contact information is down in the description of this video. I would be happy to provide that for you. And just to close this up, I do think that there is reason to be very optimistic, whether you're a buyer or a seller, about this year. If you're a buyer, inventory levels being high, having a lot of options to choose from, because a lot of sellers have entered the market, because they are incentivized, because the market is productive for them as well. So it's a win-win for everybody, just with the understanding that prices are what they are and mortgage rates are what they are. And we got off to a great start to the year, really to kind of solidify that idea in my mind, where we landed a really nice listing on New Year's Eve that should go live. Today's Friday, a week from tomorrow. So, of course, I'll share that with y'all once it goes live. So sellers are entering the marketplace, and they can be confident that even now at this point in the year, they can get a good offer for their home and they can get it sold. So with that being said, I look forward to hearing from y'all. Y'all take care, and God willing, we will see you on the next video.